is so hilarious. So I may have talked about this in the past. I just want to go over it real quick. We've actively tried to be gender neutral toy wise with our kids, one of each, and it's such a losing battle. Sad panda. He's so sad panda. Yeah, I can already see my daughter preferring pink. I have no idea why because we've worked so hard to avoid that. Sad panda. Such a sad panda. Pink and Disney princesses. We tried to discourage them, but our daughter has gravitated towards both. So when you think that, so like I was saying about, the Confederates and how these people don't know anything, right? Because they're, fucking uneducated rural folk. These folk are educated, most likely liberals, right? Progressives. They're not actual liberals necessarily. I hate using the term liberal, and I do it myself because I'm a liberal. Like, fuck these people. I'm a progressive. Fuck these people. But the point is like, you all these people who think that, oh, all the Confederates were evil when these are literally like ignorant, dumb rednecks who can barely read, can barely write, and they don't know what the fuck's going on, but they do know that somebody is invading their home, right? But these people are educated. These people are educated. So it just goes to show you that you can be a complete dumbass and have an education. And how that happens is that you are just smart enough to learn how to operate the machine, but you are not smart enough, nor have the inclination to learn anything else. These people were basically propagandized into believing that the human preference, the human children's toy preference, the boy-girl section thing that we always used to have. Like when I was growing up, there was literally a section called girls, boys, and there was one in the middle that was ambiguous where it was like it would have like the dolls, but some of them would be dudes and they would be like the big GI Joe figures, and they'd be essentially unisex toys. Twin Dragons, what's up? They must have engineering degrees. No. Don't no. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, you can't have that. Don't talk about my boys that way. You keep my friends out your mouth. How you doing, buddy? But anyway, yeah. So obviously they have some kind of STEM degree because they're so educated and so smart. Okay. But it's just one of these things where this is how easily people can be propagandized to not believe their own eyes, to not believe the things that we all know are intrinsically true. Now, to be fair to science, there are a lot of things we all know intrinsically to be true, like humans can't fly. Well, guess what? Science still says humans can't fly. What we can do is we can use physics to our advantage, stick a bunch of us in a fucking cylindrical tube, attach these giant things to it we call wings, and then there's this weird Bernoulli principle thing that happens that causes the plane to go up. Now, some people call that flying, but honestly, if you're not using your own human muscles, is it really flying? Are you really a bird? I think not. So anyway, yeah, it's one of these things, and it's like, I can understand not wanting to push, Disney princesses on a girl because it might be a tomboy, right? Your daughter might be a tomboy, and you want to leave room for that. You don't want to pressure them overly much. But these people are actively seeking to subvert their own genetic biases. That's what they're doing of their children, and good credit to them. Credit to them, they're acquiescing. Their children are saying, these are my preferences, and they're letting them have it. They're trying to give them other options, and they're just like, no, I don't want that. And they're letting it go. Because see, this is like, even though they're delusional, they're at least good parents so far as this goes. Because a delusional parent, just like in the past, right, when a girl was too much of a tomboy and didn't want to wear pink dresses and she wanted to go fucking like play in the mud, like that's my daughter, by the way. My daughter is both of these things. She wants Disney princesses, pink dresses, frilly stuff, all the girly shit you could possibly imagine. And then she wants to go play in the mud and climb a tree and run down the street going, ah! That's what she wants to do. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Am I going to tell her, no, you can't be a ballerina detective or go play in the mud in your pink dress? Actually, We do not let her go play in the mud in her pink dress. What we do is she puts on the pink dress, she plays in that for a little while, and then we put on clothes that are for playing in the mud and outside, and then she goes and does that. What just happened to kids will be kids? The same place that boys will be boys went. Some asshole used it as an excuse for fucking retardo shit, and so now it's been now they basically an entire movement has gaslit the entirety of our civilization to basically be like, oh yeah, you can't do that no more. When it's no, boys will be boys, girls will be girls, and kids will be kids. And it's one of the like foundations of being a good father is that recognizing that kids will just be kids, right? And the phrase that boys will be boys is supposed to be that boys tend to be more rambunctious. Their energy tends to like explode out of them. They wanna fight. They wanna talk shit to one another. I grew up doing these things, right? We did these to each other, and we grew up just fine, right? And it's not, boys are not defective girls. And that's half the problem with the boys will be boys thing, is that that's the way it feels like they're treated in schools nowadays, but we don't need to get into that. The thing about it is that this is one of these things where it's like these people were so educated that they were able to be gaslit or at least propagandized into believing something that's not true. Something fundamental to our own biology that they even saw when they were kids, right? Every one of these motherfuckers had the same thing happen to them when they were kids. Where, don't you want this? No, I want this thing. Now again, to be fair, it's one of these deals where there were, it's like little boys who want to play with Barbies. They're not being allowed to. I was allowed to play with Barbies. Did I own Barbies? I think so. I don't know if I owned them or if I stole them from my cousins, but I did have them. And I had a train set too, and G.I. Joes. And you can imagine if you have Barbies, train set, G.I. Joes. I'm sure you can come up with something. The kid's just going to pick what they think is cool and what Timmy and Sally down the road have to. Yeah. I mean, for most children, it's whatever they want is based around what they think is cool and or what they think their friends group they think is cool, right? But boys and girls do have different tendencies when it comes to toy preferences, and the older they get, the more distinct they become. Some girls have boy preferences, tomboys, and some boys have girl preferences, and it's just the way it is. There's no way, and we should let them be whoever they are. If you, like my daughter, wants to be a pink princess who is she wants to be a pink princess. At the same time, she wants to go roll around in the mud. So she just can't wear the expensive dresses that we buy her for that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Girls enjoying girly things, fantasizing about being princesses is fine, actually, and a normal part of female emotional development, not a defect. In fact, it is. My wife is the queen of my domain. She absolutely is. 100%. And I wouldn't go so far as I worship the ground she walks on, but I do often use that to express how much I am devoted to her and our family. She serves me, and I worship her. That is how we do it. And the serve part is more just we don't need to get into any of that. It's just a turn of phrase. That's all it is. It's just like in my family. My family is a communist, benevolent dictatorship, a benevolent communist dictatorship. That's a better way to put it. Where all the money is brought in by certain individuals, and then all the money is completely and utterly redistributed to everybody who needs it in whatever fashion is determined, usually by the queen, most likely. And I am the dictator, but I'm a benevolent dictator. So I don't do any dictator shit unless dictator shit needs to happen. So mostly I just kind of like let it roll. So unless some real bad shit happens, that's the only time executive privilege is enacted. If there's danger or if shit hits the fan and things need to get done, that's when it happens. And for me, that's my ideal of like a a good household where you have delineations of responsibilities of power, and specifically the authoritative power of the husband slash man or whatever is only enacted when it is absolutely necessary. Like there have been dangerous situations where I've had my family out and I've had to basically give my wife the do this, go now. And she knows what it's like, right? She was in the military too. So when my voice takes on a certain tone and it sounds like orders and not me asking her to do something, she does it. She loves me. She trusts me. And she knows one thing above all else is that if I give her an order, I have a damn good reason to do it. And she'll know what it is once the situation at hand has been taken care of. It's only happened like 2 or 3 times in our entire relationship. And she knows I won't abuse it. I'll never use it in anger. I'll never use it as a weapon against her. It'll never happen because I don't want that. Because once that trust is broken, dude, it's so hard to get back.